Welcome to Eat Your Backyard, my YouTube channel where I talk about all kinds of cool edible things and bring you with me on my little homestead here, my little Florida dwelling. Today I'm going to tell you how I made a awesome worm farm completely for $60, and it's cranking out incredible worm tea. If you stay to the very end, I'm going to show you the bountiful harvest of worm tea. Now, first I want to say thank you to Suzanne over at Funky Chicken Farm in Palm Bay, Florida. This is the inspiration for this system. She showed me exactly how to set up a worm farm. You can go check out this video here if you want to see the time there where I learned about all this stuff. But this is really basic, and I don't think it takes a lot of explaining, so this should be a fairly short video. I first bought these two large plastic, PVC bins at the department store or whatever. Any store that has these types of bins will work. I like them because they were a little bit thicker. I wanted it to be sturdy enough to hold a lot of weight, because the soil that goes into these bins is actually very heavy. I'm surprised, actually. I underestimated how heavy these things would be, even half full. So two of those bins, and then the cool thing is the bins actually stack nicely, so they sit up on this thing, and although I put a thing under it, they just kind of rest on top of each other in order to give that space, which is that space on the bottom, which is where all the worm tea will collect as you water it through. The last thing that I got in terms of hardware was this valve, and this was something I bought from that Funky Chicken Farm. You could certainly make one on your own, but it was all set up, and it just produces a way to just quickly pour that out directly into the watering can, or sometimes I'll come along with these little yogurt cups and just fill up a cup and put it on something that I think will benefit from that vermiculture, from that deep nutrient and microbial benefit of worm tea. Alright, let's take a look inside and see if we got any of those red wigglers. Okay, so red wigglers are the type of composting worm commonly used. I always keep the lid on top. Again, this is heavy, which I like, to keep it shaded, so you never want it to dry out. Things worms need are food and water, like everything else, and they'll do the rest. Well, you can see there's actually a little wormhole here. Just put this new layer in not that long ago. One of the things that's really useful is to have cardboard, brown cardboard, without any stuff on it, and you just kind of wet that down and put it into the soil. They eat that, and they also will eat what I put in here are the turds from my beautiful bunnies. As you can see, they are producing lots of turds. Those bunny berries. Thanks, Penelope. Nice work. Oh, there, just another one just fell in there. Thanks there, Thumper. So, two little beautiful bunnies, which we'll let out to exercise in this pen a little later. They actually love to go under the worm bin because it's a little bit of a hidey hole. But these worms are now under here. I got the worms for $30 from Funky Chicken Farm. And let's see if we can dig down underneath. Oh yeah, look at that. Just filled up with worms. So thick. Yeah. You can see, it's a red wiggler. Healthy. And I love that. There you go. Yeah, get back in there, buddy. Right, I'm going to feed them some berries. One of the other things I do is I'll give it the papaya, the rotten papayas. You can see there's always a rotten papaya or two available. Throw in. So yeah, the cardboard, I did put a layer of cardboard on the bottom of this when I first made it. That was something that they recommended to me when I was talking about this, and that seemed to help. Certainly the worms have thrived. I didn't have any worms crawling out. That was one thing that was mentioned, and in some of the videos and stuff I looked up online. This has been a really good setup. The only other thing I did was I built this little platform just out of 4x4s and 2x4s and 1x6s. I just built a little platform for it, which was fairly sturdy because of a lot of weight. You can see I put a lot of deep screws in there, but then it's in a real convenient spot, and it's high enough off the ground that I can easily get a water can underneath there and fill it up. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the finished product. So I'll show you what it's like to get a cup of this stuff out. I've got mulberry and sugarcane planted in here, as well as lemongrass in the rabbit exercise cage area. And I'll take a cup out just to pour on that. The tea, it has that tea color to it. And it does not smell that good, but it is full of nutrients. Okay, so there's a good look at the worm tea. As you can see, it is yucky stuff. And surprisingly, it doesn't smell that bad when you're just a foot and a half away from it, but if you put your nose up to it, it is full-on disgusting smelling. Which I suppose is what makes it so. Well, now this is a cutting that I grew in an earlier What You Got Growing On video, which I'll post a link to here. But it grew quite well, and now it's getting off to a good start in the spring. I'm going to go ahead and give it some of that. Give it a chance to soak in. That's good. Get that all down in there. You can see the soil here is mostly just like sand. But despite that, the mulberry will do quite well, and I'll actually take those mulberries and feed them to the buns. And since you stayed all the way to the end of the video, I know Thumper's busy eating hay. He might want to come out and play. Thumper might want to exercise. Thumper, you want to exercise? Look at that, right to the front of the cage. Yeah. You want to go out and play around? Now I always use both hands to bring the rabbit down. But Thumper boy loves to exercise, gets a chance to dig.